Welcome to a wonderful spiritual journey through Sahaja Yoga. Today we are going to talk about the energy that exists within all of us and which is called as Kundalini. At the end of this program, we will have an opportunity to activate this energy and feel this unique experience. Here is a beautiful story coming from the depths of the ages. One day, God asked the angels, "Where should I hide the secret of life?" They said, "In the depths of the earth." "No," he answered to them. "This is the first place they would look. Deep inside the ocean? It will take them a little more time, but they will get there too. At the top of the highest mountain? Oh, they will always try to climb up there and they will manage to reach the top at the end. In the faraway stars? They will always long to reach the stars and at the end they will reach there too." The angels became silent without knowing what to say. "I know where," God said. "I will hide it somewhere that they will never think to search. I will hide it inside them." And so it happened this way. So far, human beings have been seeking so hard to know the secret of life in different ways, but they never looked inside them. Where is the secret of life hidden? Can it be hidden within us? Above the coccyx, at the base of our spine, there is a triangular bone which is called as sacrum, meaning sacred bone. The 5 vertebrae that make up the sacrum are separated when we are born. Gradually, they unite and by the age of 20, they become a compact bone. Why is this part of the body called sacred? This has been a mystery for ages. The ancient Greeks knew about it. Around 440 BC, there exists a written account in which Hippocrates refers to this bone as Aaron Ostun or sacred bone. In Egypt, the sacrum is dedicated to Osiris, the god that grants eternal life and allows sprouting of vegetation. Later on, the Romans adopted this term and called it as os sacrum, which is the medical term that is used even today. In Hebrew, it is called as halaya, which means the connecting link of the spinal cord. It is derived from the word Yah, which means God Yahweh. According to the Jewish tradition, after death, even though the rest of the body decomposes, this bone will remain intact and will become the starting point for the revival. In the Bible, this bone is mentioned as the last bone of the body that decomposes, thus useful for the resurrection of human beings. We can find the following in the book of Psalms: "It watches all the bones, one of them will not break." The Arabs believed that this is the first bone that is formed in the body and the last bone to be destroyed. It is called as El-Ajb, and it is the seed from which the entire body can revive. The prophet says, "Everything will be perished from the human body except the coccyx, and from this bone Allah will recreate the body." We see that the idea of resurrection exists in different traditions and civilizations all over the world. Now the time has come to solve this mystery. What makes this part of the body sacred? It is the existence of an energy within it, which is called as the Kundalini. You can see the position of this Kundalini in this chart of the subtle system. The word Kundalini is named after its shape. Kundal in Sanskrit means spiral, and it is coiled 3.5 times in the sacrum bone. This Kundalini can never be destroyed. It resides within us patiently in a dormant state until we reach a level of spiritual maturity and deep longing which allows her to be awakened. This Kundalini is the reflection of the primordial energy within us. She is our spiritual mother, and as a mother, she can never harm her children. The Kundalini is the purest form of energy. She resides in the triangular bone at the base of our spine. Anything contrary to this fact is false. Another mystery is the existence of the spiral in different forms in the nature. The spiral is quite common in nature because the Kundalini is spiral in shape and it is always identified with the process of evolution wherever it takes place. We can find single, double or multiple spirals in every dimension of the universe. To name a few, the spiral shape can be found in the microcosm, small nautilus, ammonites and seashells, in the growth of the plants, in the shape of the flowers. The proportions of the human body are structured on this base and the double spirals of the DNA. In a bigger scale, we can find the spiral formations in cyclones and in huge geological phenomena. In the macrocosm, we see the formation of the spiral galaxies from billions of stars as we can see them from modern telescopes. The planets have a spiral orbit around their axis and around the sun. Jung says that the spiral images are the archetypical structures of the universe as they have been registered in the human collective unconscious. The Kundalini energy, when awakened, unites the matter with the spirit. It is the flow of eternity in our perishable body. It is the hope of renaissance, and that is why we find the spiral forms everywhere as they are her symbol. The spiral motif is widespread in every corner of our planet since the beginning of time. We can also find the spiral motifs in Africa, China, Japan, and Asia. The spiral symbolizes the eternal circle of life and death. It extends at the infinite rebirths that can be conquered only through the mother. Where mother is worshipped, we always find the symbol of hope for an eternal life. That is why they have carved this symbol on graves like this, which we can see at New Grange in Ireland. In America, we can find spiral carvings on rocks in sacred and important places. In Latin America and the pre-Columbian art, we can find a lot of jewelry pieces with this motif. In Greece, the spiral motif appears at Neolithic years. The ceramic vase from Rimini dates back to 5000 BC. It shows clearly the spiral placed in the center of a triangle like the Kundalini in the triangular bone. One of the most famous and mysterious findings is the disc of Phastos around 1700 BC that shows a spiral coiled 3.5 times. The spiral form reaches its perfection during the Greek classic antiquity with the elegant Ionic capital. This unique energy that exists within us is waiting for her awakening. When she awakens, she rises in the central channel of our subtle system. Our subtle system has 3 channels and 7 energy centers or chakras. When the Kundalini gets awakened, she rises through our central channel, which runs along our spine and finds her way out from the top of the head. When this happens, she gives us yoga, which means union, the union of the man with the spirit, the union of the matter with the spirit. All the religious traditions have mentioned about the union with the divine through the awakening of this sacred energy. Once we achieve this union with the divine, it can be felt as a cool breeze on our palms, which is also called as vibrations. But nobody knew how to awaken this energy. That is why this knowledge was kept secret and was depicted in a symbolic way. When the Kundalini is awakened, we can feel a cool breeze on our hands and on the top of the head, which is also called as cool vibrations. This is the proof that the Kundalini has been awakened. The myth of the birth of goddess Athena is a good example of a symbolic myth that hides the truth of the primordial energy. According to the Greek mythology, Athena came out from the head of her father, fully armed and gifted with wisdom, innocence and justice. She gives to people all the good qualities and virtues. She guides and protects them. She has all the attributes of Kundalini, and she rises exactly in the same way in the central channel of her father Zeus and pierces the top of his head with her spear. The name Athena is derived from the Sanskrit word Atha, which means primordial. She is known in India as Adi Shakti, who is the source and the form of the primordial energy. The Kundalini, which exists in every human being, is the reflection of this primordial energy within us. On the helmet of goddess Athena, there are 3 horses that symbolize the 3 energy channels of our subtle system, and on her chest there are snakes which symbolize Kundalini. The rising of Kundalini has been a well-guarded secret. Very few masters know how to awaken her, and they would accept only a few disciples who had to pass through very rigorous training. In some cases, this training would last lifelong and they would still be unable to raise their Kundalinis during their lifetime. But today, for the first time in the history of humanity, the awakening of the Kundalini can be done en masse. During the year 1970, Shri Mataji Nirmala Devi, who is the founder of Sahaja Yoga, established this unique method through which thousands of people have managed to get the awakening of their Kundalini, the precious gift of self-realization. Shri Mataji travelled all around the world tirelessly for the spreading of Sahaja Yoga, for the emancipation and the spiritual evolution of the humanity. She never accepted any money for her work. Shri Mataji says that spirituality cannot be sold or purchased. It is the right of every human being, and one deserves to have it, and the time has arrived for all of us to accept it. We will now do the exercise for the awakening of Kundalini. The only thing that one should have is the desire for spiritual evolution.